Hey, family, we are so glad that you are with us today. It is about to go down. So kick up your feet, sit back, relax, get those fingers ready to type on text and type with us. We are having our rec time tea talk.
Hey, family.
All right, so let's begin. I'm going to turn over to Brother Davon. He will be our moderator today and the person who's going to be making sure we move our conversation along. So, Brother Davon, turning over to you, sir.
Good afternoon and good day to all. I trust and hope that you've had a wonderful week. We have gone through a series of things this week. We have gone through cooking, we have gone through wrapping and learning how to tie and skincare and all this stuff. And we have also done teen talk. The first teen talk was great, and I trust and hope that with all those who are here with me, we will have another good teen talk. And so today's teen talk is on relationships. I just want to introduce all those who are here with me. I have Felicia James, I have Fianna James, and then I have Felicia Fifi. I call her Fifi. That's our name I gave her this week. I have Javon here as well. I have Michael, I have Ezra, and I have Brother Nathan, Sister Dana, and Sister Venetia, who will be our adults in the conversation to kind of help us give some perspectives as well as other comments, right? And so please feel free to ask any questions in the Facebook chat, and I will be sure to the best of my ability to get your question here and we can just go from there. So any questions that you have that are good and that would be spicy enough for the conversation, because we know that relationships can get spicy, right? And so just feel free as we go forward, right? So I'm going to ask this question first just to open up the conversation. What is relationships in your eyes? What does a relationship look like? Is it just only a dating thing? Is friendships in that vicinity? What is relationships to you? Any one of you, go ahead. I'm gonna start as I see you guys on my screen. So Ezra, go ahead first. I want to ask you that question. What is relationships?
Relationships, I say it's a bond between two people, whether it's an intimate relationship, and by intimate, I don't mean sex. I mean as in like you're dating, or just like a regular relationship, like or as in like friendship. I say just a bond between two people.
Okay, all right. Fiona, go ahead, dear. What is relationships to you? Are you there? Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
relationship to me is the connection between two persons.
Okay, good, good. Michael, go ahead. What is relationships to you?
I believe that relationships is like the it's basically what Fiona said, a connection between two people, whether it be dating, relationship, or maybe like a friendship, or even like a relative. You still have a relationship with a relative. They could be your parent, cousin, auntie. That's a relationship.
Okay, okay. Go ahead, Felicia James. Go ahead. I want to hear from you. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I agree with Ezron and Fiona and Michael as well. Relationship is having a connection with someone. As one also said, is whether it's intimate or it's just being friends. It's just having some sort of connection with someone. It can be family related and friendship related, girlfriend and boyfriend, etc. But yeah.
Okay, Javon, go ahead. What is your definition of relationships?
Basically what everybody said, like it doesn't matter if it's a friendship or if it's a boyfriend or girlfriend, wife or husband. A relationship is pretty much like a bond or connection or something between two people or more.
And finally, Felicia, go ahead, dear.
Exactly what everybody said. A
You got it easy,
relationship
yeah?
is a
Yeah.
connection with a bond with two or more people. It can be two or more people. You can have a big friendship. You can have a small circle. You can have a big intimate, maybe not. Yeah.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna ask the adults that are here with us. Brother Nathan, what would you define as a relationship?
Not to belinger the point any further than what has been divulged among our emerging pioneers, I agree with everything, especially that last point. Between more than one person if done healthfully.
Mhm.
Not dating wise. I'm sorry. No, well, that's the only thing I'm saying. You know what I mean? Friendships and stuff like that. Yeah.
Right. Okay, Venetia, go ahead, dear. Venetia, are you hearing me? I think she's frozen. I think she might be frozen. Okay. Yes, Sister Dana, go ahead.
Yeah, that's fine. As Brother Nate said, I don't want to echo the sentiments, but it is true. It is. I feel like the bonding of ideas, of thoughts, of just being able to have that one-on-one conversation or communication with someone. So as you said, it doesn't have to be an intimate relationship. It could be a friendship kind of relationship, but just someone that you have that you can just bounce things off of and share ideas and thoughts with.
Hmm. Okay, so we all have the same idea here that a relationship does not necessarily have to be intimate. There are levels to relationships, right? And so we're going to deal with, of course, one level, and then we can talk about some other ones. But we're going to deal with dating, right? So what is dating? Talk to me. What is dating? I'm going to start with Felicia since she was able to sum up everybody's response. Go ahead, Fifi.
Okay, so what I think about dating is when you go out with that person, you trust that person most importantly. Because if you don't trust that person, I mean, you might be going out with a stranger. You don't know that person. That's what I can say about dating.
Okay, okay, Javon. What is dating to you?
Well, dating to me, I guess, is like what based off of what she said, like you settle down with one person, or some people might settle down with multiple, but you settle down with one person and you like kind of get to know them even more than you already did before even setting the boundary that we're dating, and pretty much grow from there, or see what your differences is and see if you can work to live with this person for the rest of your life.
Okay, okay, Michael, go ahead.
To add on to what everybody else is saying, dating is like the next step. It would be kind of like testing the waters, almost like you could say a free trial. I mean, sometimes not. It's probably gonna cost you, but dating is like testing out to see, like, what you're into, the type of people like you enjoy being around. Well, partners and being partners, and dating is more of like, let's say, getting closer to someone. That's what it is to be.
I like that, Mike. So do you, or panel, do you think that you can date multiple people if you go on with that thought of it's just free sampling? So what are your thoughts? Let's talk all together. What you think?
I kind of like agree and don't agree at the same time with Michael. For me, I believe that dating is getting to know someone, right? Not exactly settling down with that person, but just getting to know them as an individual. That's what I believe. So, go like settling down to me. Like when you mention settling down, it's like courting that you know that this is where you know that this thing is leading to marriage. While dating, it's like you don't know where this is going because it's a getting to know you stage. You don't know if you're gonna like everything you find out about this person, etc., etc. So yeah.
I would like also like to pitch in. Unless you want an entanglement, then go crazy, go stupid. Um, but me personally, I think it's only should be two people. Relationships are only meant to be two people. But if you want an entanglement, like I said, go crazy, go stupid. But to me, a relationship is really getting, like what everybody else say, getting to know somebody really be able to support that person and just build each other up. Because you could get to know each other, but if you don't support what each other is doing and build each other up and like plan for the future and just like know where you're going with this, because a lot of people be in relationships for years and like you don't have an end goal with this, like whether it's marriage, kids, or wherever you want out of it. I think when you get into a relationship, you need to like have an end goal with it, at least into like let's say a couple months into it, because you don't want to just be with somebody for 10 years and there's no marriage, no kids, there's nothing from it, and then you just like wasted 10 years on your life for no reason.
I like,
Anybody else want to share? Go ahead.
yeah, I like that too, but I guess not to be rolling Michael under the bus because that was a good answer. Dating, yeah, as Mike said, for us, what I would encourage as young people is not per se dating, but maybe talking. I know people have issues with like talking or the talking scale, like, okay, what is talking? But I would say, yes, brother Nate, I see you. Nate's like, nah, let me jump in. But I feel that you should get to know each other, get to know, because I know this, for me personally, I don't want to date somebody that I'm not friends with first. Because at the end of the day, if anything should happen, if we should break up, it shouldn't be like, I hate you, I'm ghosting you, you gone out my life forever. I want there to still be some kind of, we can still talk and rap, even though it might not be on that, intimate level where we were before, but at least to know that we can still be friends even after we break up or whatever. But I more say would encourage talking, getting to know people, getting to see, okay, let me holler at Brother Bill, and I have a good friendship. Let me see how we can maybe take this friendship to another level. So let's talk. Let me get to know that person to see if I want to, man up or woman up and say, hey, I like you. Versus, you go in and you're saying you're giving your heart out all on your sleeve, and it's like, I love you, and you just started talking like for 5 minutes, like those things, make me a little scared when I hear people talk about that. But I would say talk, get to know people. Don't put the label of dating unless it's that one-on-one kind of thing versus I'm dating Bill, Harry, Paul, John, Mark, Paulie, Luke, all of those people. So what are your thoughts? Guys?
What if I were to provoke to you really quickly that, yeah, I feel like stirring the pot a little bit this afternoon. So what if I would say to you that what you defined is actually in agreement with what Michael and Felicia was saying, but that's a part of the journey? I would submit to you that I believe that in the phase of talking, I believe you already. I believe it can be done in the in a date setting. Why? Because the purpose of dating is to really get to, as Felicia alluded to, getting to know somebody. So if you're really getting to know somebody, how do you get to know somebody? You've got to talk to them. So yes, I really believe, and yeah, I believe in, just to stir the pot, that you're already doing the work. As my Michael's analogy was interesting with the free sample, but but I would probably submit to you that, perhaps that's something that's already happening in the process when you're quote unquote dating somebody.
Brother Nate, sorry, Dana. For better wording, it's not sampling. There is, for this
right, I agree.
Of thing, it is two kinds of relationship. You have romantic relationship and you have acquaintanceship relationship. So they are more into the acquaintanceship relationship, for better wording, instead of saying you're sampling everybody. You get
I was
it?
just going off what the team was saying, off what the teams were saying.
No, I know. I'm just correcting them so they don't think that they're going around sampling. No, it's getting acquainting with each other. You're
That's
trying to feel out which person is the right one. You get it?
I could see where the sampling could come in because there might be something that I like in Paul, but probably my other friend Bill has something else that I like. So I can kind of see that analogy of where Michael's kind of trying to talk and get to know, other people. Felicia, you were saying something. What were you saying?
I was saying that for me, friendship I think makes it easier because like you get to learn different aspects of people without them realizing that you're looking at them in that sort of way. Like they won't know that you have a crush on them, but you're just looking to see how they behave in different situations or react to certain things. So like being friends with someone would like make it easier for you to like transition into, dating or say courting afterwards. So yeah, that's what I would think.
Funny things. That's how my relationship started. My husband, a matter of fact, he tried to let me be friends with one of his cousins to figure out who I was. And we became very good friends for over a year. We were very close friends. I know all his ins, his outs, everything. Like everything. So first of all, for me, I wasn't even leading to that direction for us to have a relationship. But he already knows in his mind that I am the one for him. But he was just using his cousin to really figure out how is he gonna tie it all in. So when he asked me the question, I was like, you're playing, whatever, and kept it pushing. And almost 20 years later, here we are still together.
Very good. So you said something there that triggered a question in my mind, that even though in his mind he knew what he wanted, for you were just like, no, like this is not where we're going here. And so I know that there's a term that us younger folks use. They say you've been ghosted, right? So what is that for you? Just talk to me. What is ghosting in your terminology? And have you ever ghosted someone, or have you ever been ghosted? Let's stir the pot a little bit.
I like to answer this. My definition of ghosting is like when you either like talking to somebody or in a relationship or some type of friendship, and then you just completely cut off all connection with that person without no explanation. You don't reply to their texts, you block them, delete their phone number, like you just act like they completely don't exist. Have I ever ghosted somebody? I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not gonna say yes or no because I honestly don't know. But I haven't been ghosted by nobody though.
That's good. Come on, talk it up. Talk it up. Let me hear from you guys.
I'll speak. Who was speaking? Did I cut off somebody? Okay, so ghosted, like what Ezron said, is like you cut communication with somebody like immediately, no warning, just out of the blue. And I've been ghosted a lot. It does not feel good at all. It hurts a lot, but everything happens for a reason. So you just keep pushing. And I've only ghosted people for the right reasons. Like let's say they were coming at me in like sort of like a hostile manner, or like they just started like moving a different way. Like once they see me like doing better, because that's a major red flag. So there's good ghosting, and there's also like ghosting for no reason. Like people, you could be having like a regular conversation, and it's like, you know what, I'm tired of you. Let me just go talk to someone else. They'll stop talking to you forever. Like you'll never hear from them again. So yes, although ghosting is seen as a negative, it's also a positive. You have to cut people off for, to progress in life. So take that.
Well, this
Agree
is
with that.
yes. Go ahead, Ezra. Go ahead.
And since you saying that, yes, I have ghosted people. Cause him saying that made me think about some situation I had. Cause I was really close friend with this person, and like I knew they wasn't Christian nothing, but I had no problem with that. But one day I saw they post something that I felt was really offensive towards my religion, and I just couldn't associate with myself with that person no more. So I literally had lost all contact with them, and just gave no explanation behind it. Because like she posted on her social media, like this is not like 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 you just posting like a broad thing. After I was like, you know what, I can't. Not, I'm not even gonna. I don't think she know I ghost to her though. I don't think she know.
Go ahead, Javon. Go ahead.
Well, have I been ghosted? I can't really remember. I don't think so. But I have ghosted many people for relationship reasons and friendship reasons. So I can say that ghosting could be good and bad, as Michael said. And sometimes you do need to ghost people because the way their energy or their vibe, or how Christians would say it, us Christians, their spirit is not mingling or is not right with the Lord or right with your spirit or whatever. So you would have to ghost them to help.
In other words, your spirit can't take them. Plain and simple, your spirit can't take them. Go ahead, Dana.
Yeah, to answer this question honestly, yes, I've ghosted a few people, and I don't know if there's people out there that's watching, but sometimes I use the Lord as an excuse. Like, God told me that we can't talk anymore, or like I'll just be like just totally shut off communication, because ghosting in its essence is stop talking to somebody without telling them, no closure, no nothing, no anything like that. So I guess for me to kind of, I guess, give me peace of mind, I was like, okay, well, God, if it's not your will, I'm just gonna just block them on MySpace and Instagram and AIM and Facebook, and like just block them, like just they never existed. So I don't know if I've been ghosted. That's a good question, because hey, who knows? You don't know unless you go back and try to hit up like somebody and be like, okay, I can't find them. They're falling off the face of the earth. So yeah.
Word of advice to all those who are watching: do not use Jesus to ghost anybody. You cannot
Right.
use the Holy
Don't
Ghost
do
to
that.
ghost
Don't
somebody.
do that.
Don't
Do
do
that.
it.
Don't do that.
Don't do it. It's not fair to the person, and you can scar that person spiritually. And I think just thinking off of experience, I've seen it, and it's very scarring, and people don't know how to heal from that, right? So be very careful when you use, unless God really told you and you can stand on the word, don't use him, right? So here's a
Brother
question.
Davon, have
Yes,
you
dear.
been ghosted or
Yeah.
have you ghosted anybody?
I was about to
Yes,
ask that
let
question.
us know.
Oh
We
boy.
want to know.
Who did you dirty, brother Davon? Who hurt you? Who hurt
Yes,
you?
I have. Of course, I've been ghosted. I can't say many times. I don't remember how many times, but of course, you think you're going somewhere with someone and then you never hear from them again, right? And then, have I ghosted persons or females? Yes, and I've actually done it at camp. Speaking of camp, and I don't think I want to go any further into that explanation, but I was a trailblazer at the time. It was junior camp, and this young lady was just very persistent, very, very, very persistent, and we came back. She was from my district actually, and so we were talking for a while, and then I was like, oh God, I can't bother. And it sounds bad, but it was just that. And then it just cut off from there. I think she actually lost phone service or something like that. And I said, God, if you didn't cut her off, I don't know who else did, because we didn't talk ever again after that. So but yeah, ghosting is something that is given, and it is something that you also receive, and you just have to, it comes back at you, so you just got to take it, right? So here's another question from our comments actually. I'm going to read it for you. Should two people who are getting to know each other spend time alone, like Netflix and chill, right? So what are your perspectives? Talk up the things. Let's hear from you.
Hold on, Michael. Let me go real quick, and I'll let you go. Hold on.
Okay.
No, nope, 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 not at all. Under any circumstances, don't do that because the devil try to tempt us when we're by ourselves. If you are in a room alone with somebody, and especially for us men, know how our brain operate, that thought is gonna be like, ain't nobody in here. I could probably do something, and then if the other person is with it, you fall right into it. And then after the first time you have sex, you're gonna keep on wanting to have sex more over and over again, which is gonna lead to more sin and stuff like that. So under any circumstances, don't do that. Save yourself for marriage. It's the right way. And leave that room. Leave. Or go to some public place where people can see you.
Okay, although Ezron is 100% correct, I believe some people do have like good and pure intentions. Like not everybody wants to just go out there and get busy. So I say if you have good intentions and like you know how to say no, then I'm pretty sure like a movie wouldn't hurt. A puzzle, maybe what Cartoon Network, whatever you guys watch. But yeah, if you have good and clean intentions, like if you're not like just out there to go and get nasty with anybody or the person you're getting to know, I believe if you have good and clean intentions, then it's not a terrible idea.
From a parent point of view, that is a no, no, no. As Ezra says, that's the time the devil chooses to step in. I have a 21 years old, a 14 years old, and an 8 years old. The 21 years old, she already knows. When you're on your own, you could do that. If you're living under my roof, no. My 14 years old can't even bring that question. If he's going to the movies, I drive him there, or his dad or his sister drive him to the movies, and he better give me a time the movies is going to be over, and one of us is sitting down outside waiting. Sometimes he's like, Mom, why you gotta do this to me? No, because nothing is gonna happen before time. No, that's my answer.
So I have another question now, right? So we talked about
Before you go there,
okay, no
sorry to
problem.
cut you. I was muted. I didn't know I'm muted myself. I I would say in regards to alone, the context of the question we're talking about Netflix and chill. You already know how it goes down in that setting. Guard yourself against that setting. Now, mind you, I'm okay if the two of you are going out alone in a public place, as Ursan was alluding to. Be responsible. I mean, here's the thing. You can't be out here dating in these streets if you're not emotionally. I know. I'm sorry. I started the pot so quick. You can't be out here and about if you're not responsible about this thing. Because here's the thing. Yeah, it's for you to know a person, but it's also for the other person to know you. You can't just approach this thing selfishly and see what can I get from me out of. When you approach dating with that mindset, honestly, I'd venture to say that maybe you're not really as ready as you think, because you got to be responsible. I wouldn't want to have some, I'm sorry, I'm not privileged to have had the perfect walk along those lines too. But as I got older, you do understand. Yeah, it's not a good idea to be alone because. Woo-wee.
Before I ask my question, I actually want to hear from the younger ladies. I want to hear your perspective. Is it safe to spend time with someone alone? Talk to me, ladies.
I can answer. Can I answer? Yeah. Okay. I can remember a verse that says, "Abstain from the appearance of sin," and you spending time alone with a person, getting to know that person. You don't exactly know like if y'all are unequally yoked, because again, you're getting to know that person. So like you don't know where that person stands like in Christ, and what are their beliefs and position on certain things that should be done while dating. So you need to abstain from the appearance of sin. So that is my view. So no.
Oh, brother David, you're muted, but that's nice. Any other females, Felicia, Renelle, you guys want to jump in and answer this question? Do you think it's okay to be alone with somebody that you like?
I would definitely say yes. No, I'm just kidding. No, no. Um, First of all, do you even know this person? I mean, yes, you can know the person, but you don't know so much about them. And what Sister Renisha said about taking them to movies, I don't even go anywhere, so I can't even say anything about that.
She's not allowed to go anywhere. It's a difference.
She said nowhere at all. That is so.
They are protecting you, Fee. They are
Yeah.
protecting you. Because my daughter, she's 21 years old and she never, ever did a sleepover until she started college. Because as females, we have to protect our daughters. Because if we give you that opportunity to just say, okay, you could get up and go, we are setting you up for failure. We are setting you up in a path to tell a guy, oh, she's available, so we can do whatever we want. With a boy, they will get away a little bit to go out because there's not too much to worry about. But with a girl, it is totally different. My daughters, they argue with me daily. Because little Tanaya, she will say, oh, mom, can I go spend the day with such and such? The answer is no. No. First of all, Tanaya is shapy, curvy. She's 8 years old, but she has the body of a 10, 11 years old. I send my little girl to go out, and little Tommy or little Joey think it's okay to touch Tanaya, and then Tanaya thinks that, oh, it's just little Joey. No, no. So I understand your parents don't allow you to go anywhere. I'm a mother, so I can tell you it is okay. One day in life, you will totally understand why. So don't feel any kind of way. It's for your own good.
To chime in, I saw somebody put in the comments, and I wholeheartedly agree, especially in the younger years, to protect the sons and daughters. I think one of the things that one of the underlying elephants in the room is that kind of double standard, because there are a lot of sons that has a lot of things that happen to them in certain settings. I know that's not the talk, but if we have to have the same boundaries and parameters. Like one of the things I learned, I was privileged to go to some of this was privileged when I was younger. One of the things that was important, and I think for me that I learned, and it's important that we do teach our kids this, is the importance of those boundaries, especially in the social settings. And then also as parents, get to know the parents of some of these kids, because if you got the Holy Ghost in regards, so I'm just speaking for the daughters, for my sisters and them. If you got the Holy Ghost, you already know from the word go who's good for you, who's not good for them. And you got to have the conversation with the children from young. Let them know why. If you're somebody if you're somebody that you know you love the Lord and you want to raise these kids right, especially when it comes to the dating scene, I think parents need to have more open conversation with their kids from teenagers, so that they also begin to know and make and create boundaries for themselves. I'm listening to some of y'all in the room. I can tell y'all are blessed. Y'all are among the blessed. Even if you messed up or whatever, y'all are among the blessed, because you've already given yourself decided boundaries, decided parameters to say, yes, this is good for me. No, this isn't good for me. So that, I think that needs to happen more. And in our faith communities, we also need to strengthen that sense for our daughters and our sons, so that we can help them to decipher and discern where dangers may lie, or what is actually good for them, because it's not always all bad. So that's just my thought about that too.
I have one more thing to say. If you know you have Caribbean parents, you're lucky to have them. Just saying that. You're lucky to have them.
But you're not lucky at the same time. Just let's get that straight. You're lucky, but you're not lucky.
That's your responsibility. That's
I
because of
love,
what you
I
do.
love you, mom and dad. No offense, but just saying.
So here I'm gonna flip the question a little more now, right? So we're against spending time alone, right? So what about doing group dates, right? So say if your youth ministry decides to go bowling, right? And you and her are in the same youth ministry, whatever, and you guys decide to make that your date, right? So how do you feel about that? Are you guys doing this intentionally? Are you guys just gonna flow with the rest of the crowd? Like, how do you feel about group dating? Talk to me.
Can we excuse me, at what age, at what age are you allowed to date? I just want to know.
Perfect. That's even a better question, and then you can flow from there, because that's actually one of the questions in the Facebook group chat as well. So go ahead and answer that question, and then we'll go back to the group dating. What age do you feel is appropriate for you to start dating?
Okay. In my opinion, from my experiences, I feel like until you get into high school, going in high school and like college years, I would say none, because elementary school and middle school, you're immature. You, you're very immature during those stages, and then majority of relationships that people get into there either don't last or it's just like playful stuff. It's nothing serious. So my advice, I'll say like 15 and 16, 15, 16 going up. Anything before that is just like play stuff. It's not no, nothing
15.
serious.
I said 18 years old. That means because now you can make decisions. So you're not living under your parents' roof. Anybody who lives under their parent rule shouldn't be thinking about having a relationship. The only relationship they need to be thinking about is their books. You understand? You need to think about graduating high school. Then after that, you have a choice to think of going to college or get a job, and then you can maintain yourself in order to maintain a relationship, but not your parents maintaining you. That means you cannot maintain a relationship. Having a relationship means that you cannot focus on school because you're emotionally attached. Now you're starting to worry about what is he or she doing, who is everybody else talking to. So now you can't even focus on your schoolwork. So you're failing, and you can't even understand while you're failing because you're thinking about stuff that you shouldn't even be thinking about. Relationship is when you gain what you need to gain in life already. So
Mhm.
15, 16, that ain't no relationship because you cannot invest in that.
Hold on, before you answer, Nate, let me hear a little more from the younger ones. Go ahead, Felicia James. I know you wanted to say something. Go ahead, dear.
Okay, in my Caribbean household, 15, 16, if I am to say that I want to date, the licks I would get, no sir, no,
You know
can't
your
walk
father
out,
don't play games.
can't walk out. Plus my father's a pastor. It can't work. It cannot work. My mother always told me books before boys because boys bring babies. And now that I'm 18 years old, I'm in college. Now is the time where like I can actually entertain the thought, and I'm using my words carefully, entertain the thought of dating, because I don't get to go every single where that people said that, oh we go, I can't do that. I can't go out on date like that. No, that's not me. That's not my household. So I believe when you are emotionally ready, when you are of age and you are that mature that you can handle that, that's when I believe that you should start dating. So yeah.
Go ahead, ladies and gents, talk it up, and then I'm gonna allow Nathan to chime in. Go ahead,
Um,
Javon.
Well, I agree with Sister Venetia, what she said about the age, like 18 should be the age that we all start dating. Because like now in this generation, as we can probably all see, like dating is like so popular in like what people do or what these teens do. And like if you don't have it, what are you really doing? If you're not in a relationship or you're not talking to this amount of femmes or you're not doing this and that, it's like, what are you really doing? You're like awkward, you're weird, you're like, oh, well, like throw them aside. Like, but honestly, it depends. Like age is like what I always say, age is just a number. Like I say that 17 and up would be good as long as you have a mature mindset of what you know what you're doing and where you want to go with this, and that you're just not going into a relationship for this reason, or you're going into a relationship just to say, oh, I'm in a relationship. But like for me, I think of a mature mentality. Like I just don't just jump into a relationship because I want to be in one or I want to claim that status. So
One
I
more
changed
thing.
my answer. Oh, hold on. I changed my answer. Don't worry, Sister Venetia. I agree with you now. I changed my answer. You're right. Continue.
Go ahead, Felicia James. Go ahead. I think Fifi, you wanted to say something as well.
Yes, one more thing. For me, I think that when kids are younger and they jump into relationships, they're opening themselves to like stuff that they're not ready for at all. And because like they're not mature enough to understand certain things and realize that certain things aren't right for them, like they take any and everything, and in turn they end up growing up to be damaged individuals. Because like most of them, if your relationship turns out really bad, you're in high school, there are like some depressed people out there, some damaged people, and like it's gonna be hard for you at the end of the day when you're at that stage to date. It's gonna be hard for you to trust people. It's gonna be hard for you to open up yourself to people. You're not gonna be ready, and it's gonna take a longer time for you to be like ready to actually have a relationship with someone. That's it. I'm done.
Go ahead, Brother Nathan.
I read a book once upon a time. You should check it out. From Ted Cunningham about Young and in Love. One of the things that I really liked about that book when I was reading it, I found out that something I had learned from years ago. It is really about a maturity issue. But here's another thing: it's how the community, your faith community, because I guess we're idealistically speaking, faith community as well, family community, is the right mature. I mean, the maturity, not only just that, but also right definitions. You know what I'm saying? If you're among people that don't have right definitions, you'll end up doing even possibly a good thing, bad intentions, like a deformed hand. You know what I'm saying? So, when it comes to like what I'm hearing, what you guys are saying, yes, it does take emotional maturity. Um, for me, if it was up to me, and here's the thing that helps. Here's the caveat: if you're having regular healthy discussions with your kids and teens about relationships, maybe you can start. This is just idealistically speaking. I'm not saying this is doctrine. Maybe you can start at 16, but that's only if you've had healthy conversations leading up. 17, 18, like I heard 17, 18, because here's the truth. Yeah, yes, Felicia, that happens in high school, but you got a lot of adults and young adults that the same thing happened to, and they can't recover. You think that they had a high school style heartbreak too. So you have a lot of emotionally immature people in their 20s and 30s, case in point. So my thing is, this is why, and one of the things I loved about that book, you said you have to have right parameters and you have to teach them from young, right relational parameters. I know I'm jumping ahead of the gun, but this is why you want to master friendships first. Because if you're a bad friend, there's an 100% likelihood somewhere you're gonna probably not be good in a dating, courting, marital relationship. Learn friendship, journey in friendship, have friendships with brothers, have healthy and pure relationships with sisters. My bad, I felt a good chill real quick. But have a healthy view and healthy positive relationships with brothers and sisters. Because if you don't learn purity in that context There ain't gonna be no purity in your approach to dating and courting, because what was not addressed in the community of faith, and also what was not addressed in the context of friendships by your friends, by your peers, and by your mentors, which is another relationship we don't talk about. Let me leave that alone. But what's not addressed in those contexts always manages to creep up. So let's master friendships. Let's have healthy friendships, connections between the same opposite sex. Yes, let it be clean and unadulterated. Let it be pure. You know, the scenario you gave, Davon, that's where a lot of people find people where they love that they eventually fall in love with down the line. Those social group settings. I know. I made a few people mad on Facebook chat. I love you. Kiss, kiss. But I'm just saying, if we manage and do friendships better, we will have a healthier perspective in our approach relationships. Until I healed from that, until I learned to do that right, no matter what relationships I've had, that's why it never worked, because I didn't have a right perspective of friendship. So the sooner y'all learn that and take that in for all those who are listening, and have healthy parameters and conversations about relationships. Yes, parents, you got to talk to your kids about relationships, as uncomfortable as that might be. I know I stuck a nerve, but you got to talk to your daughters. You got to talk to your sons. Be transparent about your story. If you're transparent about your story, it's going to help them give parameters for right relationship, right context. So you got to be transparent about your story as well. That's what helps avoid all those heartbreaks. It's a maturity issue, and it must be something done in the confines, not just the two people, but in the context of community.
Brother Nate, to touch on that, I think it's just basically also a culture thing. I think that parents back in the days, the same way how their parents treated them is the same thing passes on. You understand? So that's why this whole approach, they don't even touch on it in the faith base, really. It's like a taboo. You understand? In my house, these are things that we talk about. We have days where we sit around the table, especially for my son. I have ton load of girls that will call, and I will go out with them, and I have ton load of girls that will approach him and don't say anything there and then. But when we get home, this is a conversation that we have, and we explain to him. We told him the mistakes that we made in life, and these are the mistakes that he shouldn't make. So my son, he doesn't classify no girl at this age as, oh, that's my girlfriend, none of that. He doesn't do that kind of thing. My daughter is 21, and I'm proud to say the way how the concept that we placed on her, up till today's date, she's like, I will never bring home someone and until I am sure this is the person I can bring to you guys and say, I want to date this person. Because again, everybody, when their intentions are not the right way most of the times, and she doesn't want to fall in a ditch and to hear us say, oh, he told you, but again, we don't want them to make the same mistakes that we make. Why are you going to punish yourself when you saw the right way to go? You understand? But we have to open up to these kids and let them know that here, these are things. We're not saying that that's the rightful way, but this is, if probably you could try this way. Don't shun them from the conversation, or say a kid come to you, because as Caribbean parents, go to your parent and ask, oh, mom, do you think it's okay to have a relationship? They don't know if you're just talking about a friendly relationship. The first thing come to their mind is sex. So it's a no, no, no. You understand? So a lot of times, that's why kids go out and try. They go try because they want to know why you're telling them no, because you're not explaining to them Why? I have a very good friend she's my dearest friend. And you don't want to hear us when we start talk. She got one son. And when we catch our kids and we just tell them, just talk. And we let them talk all the foolishness. We chime in with them just to see where their minds are. And by the time the conversation is done, they look at us like, oh, okay. Now we understand. So it's just a culture thing.
Very true. Anyone else want to say anything? Go ahead. Yeah.
I agree with Sister Venetia. In households, we need to be more open to talk to our kids about certain things. My household is not like that. I had to test the waters myself to figure out certain things. Wish I didn't, because I made some stupid mistakes along the way, especially in relationships. And you're able to guide your kids and just steer them in the right direction if you talk about certain things. Because I was that one, like, if you told me I couldn't do something, I'm going to go test the water to find out why I couldn't do it. And I would blame that on myself and also blame that on them not telling me it in the same in the first place. I'm not just going to blame them because I was hard headed.
Yeah, it's very important. Go ahead, Felicia. James.
Yes. I agree with Sister Venetia as well, like especially in Caribbean homes, because there are times where as children, like it's so hard for you to talk to your parents because you already know where their mind goes because of like the environment that they grew up in. So like it's hard for you to have that kind of like communication between the two of, well, the three of you, parents. Yeah, it's hard to like communicate like your feelings and like whatever you're going through, relationships, etc. I would say, for me, it was not always easy. I think it's easier now because I'm older that we can like actually have like proper conversations about certain stuff. But like I don't think it's not like that for like every Caribbean household. Like I feel like parents should be able to be open to have conversations with their children and not let their mind wander and assume the worst before you get into the conversation.
Yes. And so as you're all reflecting, I feel like it's also important that these conversations are had because it opens up a door to teach communication as well, right? Because if you're communicating with your parents, then you will know how to properly communicate with that person you're in a relationship. Really, every relationship needs good communication. If you don't learn that now, you will learn it later and it will hurt you later when you're learning. It's better for you to learn that now, that communicate every relationship needs communication, right? So I'm just going to backtrack one more time toward Brother Nathan. Brother Nathan was talking about having healthy friendships as well so that you know how to build a relationship. So my question is, now that you're friends with this person, how do you know that you like that person? What is that changing feeling? Like you guys have always been talking, you guys are just talking as friends, but now something clicks. What is that something for you? Like, how do you know that you like someone?
You can't stop thinking about them. When they leave you in red and you feel some type of way about it. Uh, but I'll say like when you just like every single day that person name is in your head, you always think about them, think about their well being, or wonder if they're okay, wonder if they're good, like kind of like obsessed with them. Not in like no crazy way, but you get. I hope you get what I'm trying to say, and just love that person like so much that like you feel like you can't live without them.
Go ahead, talk to me, ladies, gents, talk to me.
I guess I'll go. But for me personally, um, like after being friends with them and watching like what they do in certain situations, like I guess like whenever they're like showing me attention, it's like 10 times or 2 times more better, like more exciting, more, it just makes a day pretty much. like you get more happy, like what Ezra says, when they name pop up in your phone, when they text you, or when they text back or something like that. So yeah.
Anyone else? Go ahead. Let me hear from you. Anyone. Michael, let me hear from you. You haven't spoken in a while. How do you know that you like someone?
You know, it's hold on. Hello?
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, it's like a inside feeling, like you feel, I don't, you get like butterflies when they come around. Like everybody else was saying, like you can't stop thinking about them. They're on your mind a lot. And like when they text you, you know, you like quickly respond like in 0.5 seconds. You just jump at the phone. You waited for them to text you all day, stuff like that.
Yeah, that text back is key, boy. That text back is key.
Renelle, I want to hear from you. I haven't heard from you yet, and so I have to pick on you. You know, I have to. When do you know that you like someone?
Well, me personally, it's like the type of conversations that we have. Like, for example, like if we can talk about, let's say, God or something, then I know like I like you. But like if you like talk about just like, I don't know, like Fortnite or a car or just something that's not interested, then yeah.
Okay, so there has to be similar interests. I like that. I like that a lot. And so I'm gonna ask one more question, and I'm gonna switch over if I have enough time after we finish this question. But so how do you deal with heartbreak? How do you deal?
Let me do this.
Heartbreak.
Hold on. Let me do this.
Go ahead.
Let me do this. I've been to way too much experience. Let me do this. I'm an expert on this. Let me do this. So, uh, where do I begin? Okay, okay. As an expert on this, I could answer this. I say the best way to deal with heartbreak is listen to music, grab you some food, and uh, and just do that for a little bit, and then after I say really like meditate, like think about all the things that happened that in a relationship, why that relationship ended, and sometimes a heartbreak can be a blessing. Heartbreak can be a blessing because that person probably wasn't good for you in the first place, and you have to like think of stuff like you have to think of stuff like that, and probably cry a little bit if you're around if you're a guy, you're around your homies, don't cry because you know how that's going to end. uh but if you just like go talk to somebody or like something like that.
Okay.
Go
ahead, Jay.
Well, for me, it's basically what he said. Like, I normally like listen to music, eat food, or like I go to somebody and ask them for advice or stuff like that. But like based off of me, my personal life, like people come to me for advice about like heartbreak a whole lot of times, like about relationships and stuff like that. So like I can like really, I'm not like an expert, but like I know like different ways. Like I tell them, okay, so I know you're heartbroken about this person, so and so, but you also got to remember that you still have people that in your life that love you. Like there's still people, you can't just fill yourself up with that one person to make yourself happy. There's God that loves you, that's still there with you, that you have your mom, you have your dad, you have so many people that still love you, and you can't just stick to that one person to fill you with joy and fill you with happiness and stuff like that.
Come on, talk up the things.
All right.
Heartbreak.
All right. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. For me, cry. Cry a lot. Cry. Cry until you feel better. And then, well, while crying, eat, sleep, and then come to the realization and realizing yourself that this is not the end of the world. Like, There's so much better things that can happen, that can come from this, that can stem from this. Also for me, dress up, learn to do makeup, take a lot of pictures, do things that will make me happy, like to distract me from whatever is hurting me. And then, it'll come a day when you just don't feel it anymore, and then you're ready to move on. And, you've grown as a person. Like, remember that person was a life experience. Like, you've learned and you've grown from that experience. So, yeah.
Now y'all see why I said at y'all age, you shouldn't be dating. Because now you having heartbreak on your parents' budget. Because now we are home and we are wondering, what is wrong with little Jamie? What is wrong with little Sarah? What is wrong? Why is my kid acting this way? Now we getting upset, not realizing that because y'all went out there, go have a deep emotional connection to somebody. Now you're having a mental breakdown of someone that probably wasn't even meant for you from day one. See?
Go ahead, Fifi.
Okay, so if you go into a heartbreak, find another person. I mean, let me stop. Okay, let me stop. Let me stop.
Do not do that. Sometimes during a heartbreak, you make some of the worst decision ever. Do not do that. I'm sorry to cut you off, Felicia, but don't do that. Don't do that. Because then you can end up having sex with somebody.
I love it.
I'm just joking.
No, she was joking, but I love it. Because some of y'all saints out here, y'all not that saved. Y'all grown-ups, y'all ain't that saved, but we don't want to have that kind of church tonight. But Felicia, some people have that mindset. Let me tell you something right now. Felicia, your jokes, because you having them cats lit up laughing in the room. Let me tell you something right now. If that sometimes a parent, I can only imagine like how vexed you would be if like that, something like that went down. But one caveat is that you're their first community that can help them rebound. Something that Javon said, I don't know why it stuck out to me. Yeah, reformation. What happened is not gonna define you. No matter how ugly, no matter how simple the breakup was, it's not gonna define you. This is why I'm gonna keep saying this. If you have a good circle of friends, like Felicia James was saying, y'all need to have a girls' night. Y'all need to have a bros' night. Y'all need to have a night where y'all just chilling, not even thinking about it. Let the best of who you are come back into play, because you know what? What happened in your life? There's people in your life. Tyler Perry, as Medea said this one time from a play, I'm going to quote it. There are people in life that are either a blessing or they're a lesson. And if those that end up not being the blessing in your life in regards to friends or even the dating to marriage concept, they were a lesson. But the only way you will rebound from them lessons if you fall back on that community and let them, be honest with them. Don't come out here lying and then badmouth the person and you don't take responsibility for your part that you might have played in the circumstance going down. Listen, fall back on that community. They'll reaffirm you. They'll let you know, listen, this is not the end of the world. We got your back. I think those are the best words you can hear at a very low place in your life. I got your back. No matter what happened, I got your back. If you have people like that, the healing process gets easier and it gets better. Rather, it gets better because you're not walking through it alone. It's like when you're grieving somebody that you lost. Yeah, you have that time when you do it by yourself, but the best time to grieve is when you process that grieving in the sense of community as well, where people are reaffirming you and people are reminding you of who you are and who you're supposed to be. And it's just like, I love the fact you got to fall back on community. You can grieve for a minute by yourself, but don't stay there, because that's how the enemy will play in your brain and remind you of things and try to tell you things that you're not. Fall back on community. My part about that in Jesus' name.
Oh, I have something else to say. Okay, now I forgot. Oh yeah, okay, I remember. So basically, if I was in a heartbreak, if I got into a heartbreak or something like that, I wouldn't cry. Reason why? Because that person is just a person. It's not like they're God. It's not like you're leaving God. It's just a person. And I would do a girls' night, something like that, to get back to myself, to who I am. But all I have to say is that person is just a person. You don't have to cry for that person.
So true, so true. And for me, with heartbreak, I love to go to the mender of broken hearts, which is God. I always turn back to God to pour back in, refresh me. I may have, sometimes you lose yourself in another relationship, or sometimes you lose who you are. So I love to go back to God from just to remind me and to speak back into me who I am. I'm loved. I am beautiful. I am fearfully, wonderfully made. You have the best in mind for me. You know the plans that you're thinking towards me. So just really to build back in build up my spiritual man as well. So that's how I like to deal. Because sometimes with the music too, like that gets tricky, because if I really get into my feelings, I'll put on a Monica So Gone, or I'll put on something that's like crazy that fuels my anger, that might really speak to what I'm feeling. You know what I'm saying? So with music, especially for me, I love music. So if I'm listening to what she do, I do better. What she do to make you, like you get in your feelings and you get into your emotions. So just be careful, especially with that music thing. Make sure you listen to something that's like encouraging you, or speaking life back into you. Go ahead, Felicia.
Felicia, and then
Okay.
Devon wants to say something. Go ahead, Felicia.
Okay, so something to add on to the music thing. In this generation, this music thing is like the weirdest thing in the whole. Oh my gosh! Like they be posting they stuff on social media. They be like, and it's just kind of confusing. Like, who are you telling this to? I mean, you're telling it to the person, but like, you're doing too much now. Come on.
I agree with what Felicia said, because people do that, and then that's just setting yourself up to like making yourself vulnerable for people to come in and attack you at this time, because they know you're at a weak point. But I also got a question, because we're stuck on relationships too, but I want to like stray away. But I want to ask, like, do you think that heartbreak only comes from relationship, or can it come from family, missing goals, jobs, even church folk? It can come from people like talking down on you in church, or talking down at you on a job or something like that. So
It can. I totally agree with that. Heartbreak can come from pretty much anywhere. Because once you have a strong feeling attached to something, once it's gone or just any problem happens, it hurts.
Mhm.
Also, too, the great question, Javon. I have to ask the question: what does heartbreak mean? Something that broke your heart. Duh. So it doesn't just have to be. Sometimes I think we put too much onus on the dating relationship aspect. Sometimes your friends can break your heart. Betrayal causes heartbreak. Gossip about you causes heartbreak. When you find out that the root of the gossip came from your friend, that causes heartbreak. You're right. People in church can break your heart. Somebody says something bad about you, or somebody embarrasses you, and they're not in a public church setting, uh, and it's not done in love. That's heartbreaking. It could be traumatizing, but yeah, that's another deep rooted word. For some, it can end up being that. But anything that breaks your heart, your friends can break your heart. Unfortunately, your leaders can break your heart. Shoot, America would say, man, Trump as president broke my heart, but that's another conversation. But no, anything that breaks your heart, anything that breaks your emotional psyche for a moment or sets it back is a heartbreak.
Also, remember, heartbreak is anything that causes distress on you. So anything that causes a distress is a heartbreak. Anything. And the worst heartbreak is from your family, especially your immediate family. that is the worst heartbreak ever, because now that definitely plays on your psyche. That makes you got trust for no one. No matter how close that person gets to you, your trust is not, there is no trust. So that's why I, as a parent, I try my best. I'm not the best parent, but I try my best to let my children have that trust in me. And I try my best not to disappoint them. I will go above and beyond. So my children will just, no matter what anybody wants to tell them about me, they know who I am, because I try not to cause them distress. So that makes them go out and they will spread love. You understand? Because it's the worst. And a broken home cause dysfunction outside, no matter what. So it got to start from home. Has to start from home. So that's why you got to be mindful who you put or who you give your heart to. So you always got to search. Not all the time the people that you give your heart to or the people that you think has your heart. No. So that's something you got to think about.
So my question now becomes, how do you deal with those type of heartbreaks? Let's shift a little more now, because the thing is that we're talking about broken communication sometimes in Caribbean homes and those things and such alike. How do you, and we never know, we might be helping somebody out there who's watching us. Some people may have been hurt from something that their parents said or whatever. How do you deal with that, and how do you get your point across that you hurt me and that I want to talk about it and this and that and the third? Come on, talk to me.
Not gonna lie to you, it's hard. It is hard. Brother Devon, you know that situation I told you about last year in camp? Yeah, I'm not going to expose the situation because this is on live. If it was just us, I would talk about it, but I don't want to put it all on live like that.
That's fine.
But
That's
that
fine.
situation I told you about, that had me messed up. Like it was very hard to be able to like go through that situation. And with how my parents is like whatever happens in the house, you stay in the house. So if something happens or like whatever, it stays in the house. And I couldn't deal with that mentality no more. And I was like, you know what, I gotta go talk to somebody. I ended up going to my guidance counselor the whole month of June last year. I was in my guidance counselor office almost every single day. And she kind of went through this. She went through this exact same situation I went through. So not only she gave me a professional help, she also understand what I was going through because she went through that same situation. And it took me, think, until like let's say 5 6 months after that situation happened, like ended, to be able to like forgive the person who like led to all the heartbreak. And I say really go and talk to somebody and really I say professional. I'll say more professional because they can help you better. But if you obviously can't afford that, find somebody that you trust the most. And I trust my son. I trust Brother Davon so much that I went and told him about it, and he was able to help. And this was already when I told Brother Davon. This was already after like was in my guidance counselor office, and this was when I was on my way to like reattaching the heartbrokenness.
Yes,
Anyone
very
else?
good. I want to jump in on that. It's very, 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 very important to talk to somebody. The Bible is all about relationships. When you read from Genesis all the way to Revelation, it talks about relationships. And please, young people, find a youth leader or find an adult. Find someone that you can talk to and confide in and say, I'm going through such and such a thing and I need help. It is okay to say, I need help. I went through school for marriage and family therapy, and one thing that I saw, it said Jamaicans don't go to therapy, and I was just like, "Oh, no, stop talk about weird, stop it, stop it." I was so upset because I'm like, why is that studies, and I mean studies have shown that Jamaicans don't go to counseling. They say, oh, we'll just pray, or we'll just keep it in our house. We won't go out and get help to build healthy relationships with our children, or with our spouse, or with whoever it may be. So I'm telling you on this live stream that it is okay, as Brother Ezran said, to seek counseling, to seek someone who is older than you, that is more experienced, that has even overcome what you're going through. There's so many adults out there, and I feel sometimes we might have to also address that too, that there's this mentality that young people don't want to go to adults, especially in the church, because, oh, they're hypocrites, or they spread our business around, or they don't mean good for us. No way. But there are people in our church who are trustworthy, who are trained as counselors, or people who can talk to you, that can help you walk through whatever situation of life that you are going through, especially with heartbreaks, especially with just even just different things that you're going through. Let somebody walk alongside with you, talk with you, build a relationship with you, that they can tell you what's right, what's wrong, or even just to speaking to you spiritually as well. Because even with the brokenness, you could be a broken spirit, you could be of a broken heart. It's just so many things that you can, so many things that could be broken, because we are human and we are breakable. And there's no human that is so super that does not need somebody else. So I just want to leave that with y'all.
I also like to add on, don't ever try to handle it by yourself. And that's exactly what I used to do. Anytime I went through anything, I knew, like, I learned from an early age that my family was not the right people to go to. And I had trust issue with saying, like, people and stuff like that, so I couldn't go to them, and I couldn't go to my family, so I just had to deal with everything on my own. I just had to just go about with it. And then when that situation happened, I just, I kept trying to handle it on my own, kept trying to handle it on my own. But I remember this one day I went to school, it was a Monday. That whole day I was so pissed off. Like, the littlest thing would have set me off. And once I realized, I was like, you know what? Let me talk to somebody before I put hands on somebody. And not gonna lie to you, that's one of the best decisions I've made in my entire life.
Yes, one of the most important things for us is communication, right? And we've talked about this, and it's so funny how things kind of just tie right back into each other. We talk about with the church that a lot of times we feel as if the older folks don't pay attention to the younger folks. But then if you hear even the perspective of some of the older folks, which is very interesting, they are willing and waiting to hear from young people. That's one thing. And two, even for them, when it was their time, when they were young, they felt the same way. And it's coming like it just trickles down. And I feel like it's because of a lack of communication. There was, I think communication is that gap bridger, that the bridge, the thing that bridges the gap. Praise the Lord. You understand what I'm saying? And I feel like with our culture, we love our people. Please do not leave from this live believing that we hate Jamaicans, we hate Caribbeans. We love them. Happy Emancipation Day to all of you. God bless you. But we also do have flaws, and we have to work through them for the sake of the generations that are coming after us, right? Communication is key. Like Venetia said, with her children, she talks with her children, right? And that's helping to build them to become better, right? And so for our children who are here with us, right, we also have to build proper relationship, something that is lasting, that we can pass from generation to generation, right? And so I have one more question for you from our Facebook Live. The question is, what are your limits, and or how do you know your limits? How do you know your limits? Are investing your time and attention and trust in someone you are seeing. So basically, um, I would say I would kind of call that like red flags. Like what are things that you just don't tolerate? What are those things? What are your limits? How far would you go in relationship? Like what are those things? Like how do you know those things?
That's good. At least for me, I know if there's somebody that does not love God, does not honor God, does not believe in God, don't believe, no, we're not even going to continue a conversation together, because as a Christian and as the Bible stresses about being unequally yoked, I don't want, when I get into a problem, I can't turn to my partner and say, please pray for me, I'm going through this situation. They'd be like, oh, that's all right, go to church, or you'll be all right. Just, no, if you can't speak the words of God into me or speak life into me, I'm not trusting you with anything, because if you don't trust the God who made me, I don't trust you.
I agree with that, Sister Dana, but I also disagree with it at the same time because you can be in a relationship with somebody that's not Christian and help them to be able to become Christian. Because a lot of people that met together, one person was Christian, another person isn't. But there needs to be a willingness, though. There needs to be a willingness to be able to change, to be able to come on the good side of life. If there isn't a willingness for it, and they just like, you know what, I'm not gonna do that. I don't believe in that. Nah, 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 then I say just don't do it. But if you see a willingness in them to be able to want to live the life of God, then I say go for it. But if there's no willingness in there, don't waste your time.
Anyone else?
I'll say, I'll say, I'm gonna challenge that notion, Ursa. In the context of dating, I wouldn't take that approach only because missional dating is very draining for your soul. Very draining for your soul, meaning that you have to really invest yourself, and you almost become that person's god if you're not careful. You can become an idol to that person. So in the context of, I guess it's a dating, the missional dating thing, that's not a healthy thing. Now in the context of friendships, yeah, that's a good idea. Be a light to that person. They may know to come to know Christ, or they're better because they have you in their life. Um, to answer that original question, I would say that what would help is not only knowing red flags, but also a concept I talked about, even like with green flags, knowing what's good for you. You know what's good for you, knowing your parameters, knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses. Because once you have a better understanding of who you are, you have a great understanding of what you will not tolerate or what you will not accept. You also will have value. You'll place right value in your friendships, right value in your relationships. Hear me good. Look for the red flags, but you've got to know what your green flags are. You got to know, okay, I can engage here because they have this, or they're showing this, or I'm going to withdraw their access to me on this level because they're not good for me in this aspect. Because once you know your value and know who you are, you'll know what limits you need to set on certain people. There's certain prospects and certain godly brothers and sisters out there. Because they're godly doesn't mean that they're for you, but they're godly. They're your brother, they're your sister. If you know who you are, then have a healthy view of the world around you. Believe me, you can have healthy friendships and relationships because you know where your limits are and know what your limits are. In the context of dating, this is something that's gradual. I'm sorry, I'm taking up the time to do it. It's gradual because access access is going to be given by how I define the relationship. If we're defining this as we're dating, we're just getting to know each other. You don't need to know everything about me until it gets exclusive and we're moving towards courtship. As I discern there's a possibility something can kick start here. We're in regards to the long term, getting married and stuff like that. So in regards to limits, that's why you got to know your flags, know your red flags, but also know your green flags. The stronger you know who you are, is the better you will know how to invest into knowing somebody further or pulling back for the sake of guarding your heart. Because the Bible still reminds us, guarding your heart is important. That's where the issues of life come from. Doing this, having limits, having boundaries, is guarding your heart. So consider all of those things. Guard your heart, limitations. Don't just look for the red flags. Spend some time getting to know yourself. Know your flags. Know your red flags, but also know your green flags.
Anyone else? Anyone else? What are some limits for you guys?
Based off what Nathan said, pretty much summing it up, just to know your self-worth and set a bar, well, not a high bar, so that you don't seem so high that nobody can get next to you.
A high bar.
Yeah.
High
Nobody
bar.
can get but still have like, you know, you want this in this person, that you want to see this person or see these traits in this person, but you still have to make sure that people are not perfect. You're not perfect. So you will sometimes have to bend some of your traits in order to find love, I guess. But like, I don't want to make it seem wrong. Like, sometimes you will have to bring down the bars sometimes, because not everybody is going to meet that standard that you want, that perfect man, that perfect woman that you want. So sometimes you will have to lower the bar for people, but still to know your self-worth and know that there's still an area in your heart that God can only reach, and that only people that have met your standards or met your goals of godly or spiritual or whatever, that they can reach that part in your heart. Set that aside. Make sure that that place is locked up until you're married or until you feel that you're ready to give that key to that person and open up to them.
Also, remember, any relation that doesn't has God in it, it's not a relationship. It's not going to go nowhere. Because trust me, it will be rough. So if you got a relationship and at least none of you could say, let's pray, it's going nowhere. It's going to be all about what we can bring to the table. And that's it.
And if I could just add something here, I think with knowing your worth and knowing your value, you also you need to know where your spirit man stands, right? Because especially if you're going to go into an unequally yoked relationship, right? You can't go into the high hopes that love is going to convert your mate. You have to know yourself to know that if this person is going to compromise my spirituality, you need to know if you're strong enough to deal with it, right? Because if you're not, you'll be swayed like a leaf on the floor, right? So those are very important things as well, knowing your spiritual worth as well as your natural and your human worth, right? Anyone else? Go ahead, Nate.
I want to say something else here because I see a couple comments was flying while you were talking about that. To answer one of the questions, what is the time limit? Weeks, days, or months? To me, and just being honest, there are some people who have that thing figured out within months, under a year. I heard Steve Harvey say something on his talk show when he used to have the talk show that with men, they generally know within 6 months if that person is worth marrying or worth bringing home to their family. Usually. Here's the reality. We cannot forsake the human condition. Some people have developed late. Also, some might have blossomed early. Some people, it might take them a couple of weeks because they know their flags. This is kind of why I'm reiterating it. They know who they are. I think in a lot of cases, we've not done a good enough investigation on ourselves, on our story, where we've come from, so that we know how to have a better tunnel vision, or a better vision, towards how we approach dating. For some people, I've heard stories people figured it out in the first 2 months and they were married within the year. I've heard people say it took me a year and a half. That's okay. Everybody's journey is different. But usually, for a man, I'm going to speak as a guy. Yeah, you will know within under a year if that somebody has that prospect. Usually will. Usually. But if you're going off of loneliness, another thing that's going to talk about today, or if you're going off of it in a unhealthy way, it might take longer. But there's no set equation. It's about the maturity of the person, and that's why the context of community helps to draw that out. If your community sees and you're accountable to a community, and you have good relationships, good friendships, you're more than likely idealistically setting yourself up to being a right dating frame. So there's no equation. I can't say A squared plus B squared equals healthy marriage. I can't say that. But what I will say is you do need to know your parameters. You do need to know who you are. I think people just groping around in the bushes socially has caused a lot of problems and a lot of unhealthy, toxic connections. So yeah, step back, get to know you, get to know the person, and then you'll set the right limits.
Wonderful. And so we I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we are running out of time. But I do want to just get a last comment from all of our panelists in regards to relationships. What is your takeaway, whether it be friendship, intimate relationships, whatever it is? What is your final comments? I'm going to start once again with Ezra, and I'm going to go as I see the Zoom. Go ahead.
You should pick. My thoughts and what I basically got is that pick and choose whoever you become friends with or who you give your time to. Make sure you know your limits. Know exactly what you want out of stuff, a friendship or a relationship. If it's not going your way, communicate. Communication is the key to any friendship relationship. And if when you communicate like over and over, like I say up to like 3 times, like because you know that after 3 times like you shouldn't keep on going back with something, and after that just decide, is this person a benefit to my life, is this person a lesson, like just try to figure it out so that way you don't continue to waste your time on people, because time is one thing that we waste a lot, and you could be using that time for something else, using that time to build you up more and just do you developing your career and just do other things that will benefit you more.
Good. Thank you. Fifi, your final comments?
It's not a long thing to say, but all I can say is choose your friends wisely. Make sure you know them, because if you don't know them, you're just talking to a stranger. Um, I mean, make sure you're at the right age. And I think I think you should keep your circle small. Big circles, they affect the most.
All right. Javon, go ahead. Your final comment.
Basically, to know your self-worth, know your limits, and don't get in relationships at this point. Don't. Well, until you know that you're ready, or until you probably pray about it and God tells you that you're ready or he's ready for you to be in a relationship.
Renelle?
What I'm taking from this is that know your self-worth. Don't just jump into a relationship, like get to know the person, be friends, and then y'all could, date or whatever. And yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. And then Felicia and Fiona, since you all are so close together.
Okay, so for me, it's know who you are, know your self-worth, know what you stand for, um, know what you're striving for at the end of the day. Because if you strive for nothing, you're gonna fall for anything, and that is not gonna end up good for you at the end of the day. Regardless of friendship, relationship, family wise, anything, just know your worth, know who you are, know what you strive for, and that's it. Yeah.
Go ahead, Fiona.
Yes, okay. First off, you need to plan, know what you want in life, and just go for it. Keep God first. And if you're going to be in a relationship with the opposite sex, you guys should be equally yoked, because it's better and it's going to be easier on the relationship.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, ladies. Nathan, then Venetia, and then so forth and so on. Go ahead, Nate.
Oh, okay. Listen, if you want to have the healthy flow of relationships, listen, there's a DNA to it. The Bible says, love the Lord with all your heart. And the same thing, love your neighbor as yourself. Listen, fam, get to know God. That's the spiritual side. But in the context what we talking about today, be a better friend. I'm gonna challenge y'all. Be better friends. Be better friends to people, man. Have yourself a healthy inner circle. And as you go about dating, and when that time comes, keep your circle in with the process. Why? Because they'll help you stay objective. Because what we didn't talk about is that you can have a lot of butterflies going up and down and infatuation. And if you riding that thing by yourself, you crash hard by yourself. Keep your inner circle with the moves that you're making, man. All you need is 2 or 3. You'll go a long way. You'll be better for it. So be a better friend, and it's going to bless every relationship thereby afterwards. You're dating, you're courting, your marriage. And I'm praying that for y'all in Jesus' name.
Thank you. Sister Venetia, go ahead, dear.
Okay. One, keep realistic goals or expectations. Don't expect too much of others, because that can give you heartbreak. 2, keep your life balanced. Try your best to keep your life balanced, because when your life is not balanced, you know what that means. You get thrown off. And thirdly, I would say communicate. Communication is the key to a successful life. When you don't communicate doesn't mean just talk. It means be effective, whether to friends, family, whoever it is. And you will get your point across without you even have to argue or fight. And that's my 3 tips.
Sister Dana, go ahead.
Am I closing? Are you
I'm just gonna yes. Oh, no, say your final thoughts. I'm sorry. Say your final thoughts.
okay, you're gonna push it back to me?
Yes.
Okay. Sure. So my final thoughts. One of the scriptures that I really love is in Psalms of Solomon, 8 verse 4. It says, "Daughters of Jerusalem, I charge you, do not arouse or awaken love until it's so desired." And that's the scripture that I love and hold so dear to my heart, because the things that go along with love, the responsibility, the things you have to do, it's a lot. And if you're not in the place to fulfill your role in a relationship or your role in a friendship, whatever it is, just don't, relationship wise, don't stir up love until you believe that you are ready and you seek God and you become the person that you want to be in that relationship. So go ahead, Brother Davon, and then I'll close.
Yes. My final thoughts for you, my dear lovely viewers. Relationships are necessary, right? Relationships are key. Friendships are key. You need people in your corner. You need people to surround you in those tough times, on those moments where you feel alone. Talk to somebody. Find somebody that you can trust, right? These are all things that are necessary to life. We need each other. I need you and you need me. We have to rely on each other because we are all, some of us are struggling, believing that we're alone. I have news for you today. The great singer Michael Jackson says it. You are not alone. I am here with you, right? So don't feel alone. Don't feel like you are struggling by yourself.
Freestyle gospel, Doc.
I have hope for you today that someone else is going through what you're going through, or they've overcome and they are here to help you. Don't feel alone. Relationships are necessary. Be a part of a relationship. Find people you can trust, whether it be in church, in your family. If it's not your parents, find your auntie, someone, your uncle, your grandmother, someone that you can trust, because you are not alone. right? And I thank you for joining us. Sister Dana will close up, but I thank all of our panelists. Today, we have our friends from Guyana, the James. We have friends from Brooklyn, from New Jersey, and from South Ozone, and all the way up in Albany where the trees are falling in our backyard. We are so glad and we are so happy, and we thank you for being with us in this Teen Talk. Of course, that we hope that next year we will be able to touch one another and talk to one another and feel the atmosphere of the room, and we will have more conversations like this. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Back over to Sister Dana.
Well, they even just took my job, so God
Sorry.
bless you. No, you're fine. Please remember tonight at 7 p.m. Please join us for our final session of camp. At 6:45, we're going to be playing some flashback clips and some things that we've been doing in camp. So you don't want to miss that. And we'll be announcing the winners of our different challenges and things that we've been doing this week. God bless you. We love you. See you all at 6:45. God bless you. Wave to everybody. Wave, wave, wave.